Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. श्री हरिनाम प्रभु की जय, श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरे। All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, Gaur Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 10, Chapter 82, entitled Krishna Meets the Inhabitants of Vrindavan. Text number 17. Pritha Bhrataran Swasra Viksha Tat Putran Pitarau Api Bhratra Patnir Mukundam Cha Jaho Sankhataya Sucha Pritha Bhrataram Swasra Viksha Tatputran Pitarau Api Bhatra Patnir Mukundam Cha Jaho Sankathaya Sucha Pritha Bhatran Swasraha Viksha Tatputran Pitarau Api Bhatra Patnir Mukundam Cha Jaho Sankhataya Sucha. Mataji. Pritha, Kunti, Bhratram, her brothers, Swasra ancestors, Viksha seen Tad their Putram children, Pitarau her parents, Api also, Bhratra of her brothers, Patni the wives, Mukundam Lord Krishna, Cha also, Jahau she gave up, Sankataya while talking, Suchaha her sorrow. Translation and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Disciples of Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Queen Kunti met with her brothers and sisters and their children, and also with her parents, her brothers, wives, and Lord Mukunda. While talking with them, she forgot her sorrow. Purport. Even the constant anxiety of a pure devotee, apparently just the opposite of impersonalist Shanti, can be an exalted manifestation of love of God, as exemplified by Srimati Kunti Devi, the aunt of Lord Krishna and mother of the Pandavas. Om Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padagamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamsha श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगन रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगन ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिधि नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौर तुषे नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. Thank you everybody for being present here for today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. I'll try to speak in English. Is that okay? So, just now, some people had come. They just peeped from the window and they saw that darshan of Lord is closed, and then they just went away. So ordinary people, they think darshan of Lord means only to see with these eyes, the deity of Lord. Yes, that is definitely darshan of Lord. But real darshan of Lord is actually hearing from Srimad Bhagavatam. Darshan, Bhagavad Darshan. Darshan also is a philosophy. When we understand proper philosophy, we can understand Lord, how Lord is not material, how Lord is spiritual, how we can perceive Lord mm, through transcendental senses, not with mundane senses. How Lord is, there's no difference between Lord's body and Lord's soul. Lord is completely transcendental. And how Lord has appeared in transcendent form, especially in form of holy name. Lord has appeared in transcendent form in form of deity. So deity is also transcendental. It's not just a marble or wood or metal, but it's Krishna, completely spiritual, Sachidananda form. And also Krishna has appeared in a transcendent form of holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And Krishna has also appeared in a transcendent form of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Bhagavad Darshan, we have magazine, Back to Godhead magazine. When we read magazine, Back to Godhead, we get Bhagavad Darshan. When we study Bhagavatam, we get Bhagavad Darshan, Bhagavad philosophy, Bhagavad Darshan. So Darshan is not just with eyes, rather more important Darshan is with ears, hearing from Srimad Bhagavatam and hearing the words of previous acharyas. Because by hearing we can actually understand Lord and see Lord with proper attitude and consciousness. So here we see we are discussing from 10th canto chapter 82. Lord Krishna and Balram meets residents of Vrindavan. So here we are seeing how there was a special occasion, a solar eclipse, and how all the great personalities came to Kurukshetra for performing some auspicious activities to counteract the ill effects of solar eclipse. So this astronomy, astrology and all these things, it's not a new science. Even 5,000 years ago, everybody knew and they could predict when is going to be solar eclipse, when is there going to be lunar eclipse. They knew the movement of the sun and moon and all these things and they could calculate beforehand. So, on that exact occasion, we see kings and great personalities or from all over the world had come there. And they were engaged in performing some religious activities, auspicious activities, spiritual activities. And because everybody had come, Pandavas had come, headed by Yudhishthir Maharaj, all great personalities from Kurukshetra, from Hastinapur, Bhishma and all, Dhritarashtra and Kauravas, everybody had come. And Yadavas had come from Dwarka, all, and we see many other kings around the world had come. And when everybody came, there was naturally get together. And everybody was meeting. And in this chapter, we can see how everybody is meeting with their near and dear ones and expressing their heartfelt affection and receiving that heartfelt affection. And there is a great, wonderful discussion. So we see today also people have get-togethers, uh, but sometimes, unfortunately, in modern times, sometimes they have get-togethers in hotels or not so auspicious places, and sometimes they, when they come together, they don't do some auspicious activities. In Vedic times, there will be natural get-togethers when on occasion of festivals, on occasion of some special event, they will invite each other and meet, and there would be also natural exchange of loving, exchanges, but all was centered around auspicious activities, holy activities, spiritual activities, religious activities, not just mundane activities that putrefy a person. So here we see that in this verse it is said Queen Kunti met with her brothers and sisters and their children. Uh, One of the brother is Vasudev, mm, brother, and then other sisters and their children, and also with her parents and her brother's wives and Lord Mukunda. While talking with them, she forgot her sorrow. We see Queen Kunti was meeting everybody. So it's a very huge gathering. Her brothers, so many brothers and so many wives of their children, their wives, sisters and their husbands and their children, her parents. Earlier, people used to have long lives also. So, super mega get together. No, nowadays people have only husband wife stay together, and very few people they are in touch with. Uh, Mostly now people may have online lot of connections, but physically, practically very few. But here we see hundreds and thousands of relatives, practically lakhs of relatives actually. And Queen Kunti is meeting everybody. And in meeting with all of them and sharing her heart and hearing from them, here it is said, she forgot her sorrows. Sometimes we may suffer, but we just have opportunity to talk to someone. A lot of our anxiety or misery can reduce. Or sometimes other person suffering, he just talks to us and his sorrow or misery reduce, and just seeing other sorrow reducing we also feel very happy. So here Queen Kunti is talking to all her near and dear ones. Hmm. And one of the amazing things it is mentioned here that after she met her brother Vasudev, Queen Kunti said, "My dear, respectable brother, I feel that my desires have been frustrated because although all of you are most saintly," she's saying, all of you are saintly, all my brothers, sisters, all my family members, they're so saintly. My parents are saintly. So all my near and dear ones are very saintly. Queen Kunti is saintly, and her all near and dear ones are very saintly. How saintly? Vasudev, her brother, is father of Krishna. Can you imagine? Being father of Krishna, how saintly that person must be. So she's saying that, oh, I had such fortune of having such nice relatives. You are my brother, and you are so saintly. And I have father, I have sisters, and I'm not alone. And Queen Kunti is also saintly. Her children are most saintly. You see, Pandavas. So she is telling, my dear respectful brother, I feel that my desires have been frustrated. Because although all of you are most saintly, you forgot me during my calamities. So she's telling that I had to go through so much calamities. But when I was going through those calamities, you are not there with me. Hmm? Kunti's husband died. King Pandu died. For a wife, when husband dies, practical life is finished. It's most painful, most miserable. So Kunti was telling that when I was undergoing so much trouble, where were you? You are not there for me. Then I had small little children, and their lives were always in a great difficulty. My children were poisoned. There was attempt to burn them, and when we are exiled, we are living in forest. Uh, Kunti is daughter of a king. Her brother is also king, and she later on married to Pandu, who was the emperor of the whole world. So materially, she was most prosperous. Can you imagine being the emperor, queen of the entire world, emperor of, emperor of entire world is Pandu and his wife, Pandu Maharaj's wife. She was the queen. But then she had to undergo so much of difficulties. And she's telling, when I was in difficulty, oh my dear brother, you are not there with me. Mm. Then further, she said, she says, friends and family members, even children, brothers and parents, forget a dear one whom providence no longer favors. Sometimes, by will of providence, one is supposed to suffer. And when one is supposed to suffer, even one may have very influential relatives or many dear and near ones, but they may not be able to help. Here in purport it is said, Srila Sridhar Swami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur both comment that Kunti does not blame her relatives for her suffering. Kunti is not blaming relatives. Thus she calls them most saintly persons and alludes here to her own bad fortune as the cause of her unhappiness. She is not blaming anyone. She is just telling it is my bad fortune. It was my, somehow in my providence, situation was such that though you are so saintly, though you are so all this thing, when I was suffering, actually you are not there. That is my misfortune, or this is my so when providence, due to providence, one suffers, nobody can help. Even one may have very wonderful relatives, influential people as near and dear ones, but if one is supposed to suffer in providence, nothing can help. Mm. So, other day, one devotee called me. Mm. He is very influent. He is very affluent, very rich. But somehow other, his grandson just died. Somehow he fell, 1 year old only, and just died. And before they could take him to hospital, the child was declared dead. So very painful, very difficult to understand. Now all the money cannot help, all the near and dear ones cannot help. Everything is wonderful, and it's not that he fell from some very big place or something, but somehow it just died. And naturally everybody is very miserable, so much in pain and suffering, and nobody understand why that happened, very healthy. So all of a sudden something may happen and one suffers, and nobody can help. Doctors cannot help, money cannot help, contacts cannot help, relations, relatives, uh, nothing can help. So Queen Kunti is saying, my dear brother, you're so saintly and all relatives so wonderful, but when I was suffering, nobody remembered me. And later on we see Vasudev starts speaking. After hearing Kunti, Vasudev starts. So Vasudev said, oh dear sister, please do not be angry with us. We are only ordinary men, playthings of fate. Indeed, whether a person acts on his own or is forced by others, he is always under Supreme Lord's control. So Vasudev is saying, we are ordinary men. We are playthings of fate. Now Vasudev is a father of Supreme Lord. He is not ordinary in one sense. He is very special. But he is also considering himself as, I am very odd. We are ordinary people. We are just play toys in hands of fate, or Supreme Lord. He said, my dear sister, you are suffering as per your fate, and I was suffering as per my fate. Harassed by Kamsa, all of us Yadus, we fled in all different directions, but by grace of providence, now after a long time, finally we have been able to return to our homes. So he was telling, what can I do, my dear sister? We are very ordinary people. Definitely, I wanted to help you. Definitely, I care for you. Jai Shri Nitai Gauranga ki, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai. I really care for you and I wanted to help you. But what to do? My situation itself was in very precarious condition. We were all tormented by Kamsa and we are scattered in all different directions. I was not able to live with my own wife and children. My wife and children were on other homes, and somehow we are just uh, struggling. And after will of providence, now after a long time, we have come together again. So here we see Vasudeva is telling how the situation of human beings is. By the will of providence, sometimes even near dear ones get scattered. And no matter however big person may be in material calculation, he's just a play toy in hands of providence. This Vasudev and all these Yadavas are not ordinary people, very powerful people. But even then, uh, they were not able to live with their family members. They were scattered. And Vasudev is the most saintly person. He is very affectionate, compassionate, kind. But he was not able to help even his own sister when sister needed the most. So this is the situation of this world. That we may have many nice friends, relatives. We may have money, we may have influence, we may have everything. But when we need that, all these things may not be able to help us. Similarly, we may have very kind heart, we may be very affectionate, loving, we may be very compassionate, but still we may not be able to help others, even our most near and dear ones. So, so one should understand this fact of this world. Ultimately, in this world, only one person can help each one and everyone. That is Krishna. Krishna is Surudam Sarvabhutanam. He is heart to heart friend of everyone. And he can help everyone in all times. And therefore, scriptures suggest that we should take shelter of Krishna. We should surrender to Krishna. We should depend on Krishna. Real independence is to depend on Krishna. If you are not dependent on Krishna, then we have to depend on so many material things. And when depend on material things and material people, actually there's no guarantee. So to depend on Krishna, then we don't have to depend on material arrangements. Material arrangement may be whatever may be. Still, one can be protected. Real independence is to be independent of Maya. In this world, everybody is actually controlled by Maya. And everybody is a play toy in hands of Maya. Daiviyesha Gunamayi, Mam Maya Durataya. Gunamayi Maya. This Maya is made of three modes, and everybody is like puppets in three modes: mode of ignorance, mode of passion, mode of goodness, and one just acts based on those modes. So, real independence is to be independent Maya, independent of these modes, independent of Kala, independent of Karma. And to be independent of Maya, it is not possible. Devesha Gunamai, Mam Maya Durataya. It's impossible. Only ways, Mam Eva Prapadante, Mayam Etam Taranti. Only ways, if we can depend on Krishna, if we can surrender to Krishna, so we can be really independent in that sense. So we see that in Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his song, he has written songs on Sharanagati. In his introductory songs, he says, Shadanga Sharanagati Hoi Be Jahar, Tahara Pratana Sune Shinanda Kumar. So one should surrender to Krishna, and one who is surrendered to Krishna, mm, Shadanga Sharanagati Hoi Bejahar. There are six limbs of surrender to Krishna. One who is surrendered to Krishna, his prayers Krishna listens. Chanting Hare Krishna is a prayer, mm, but whose prayer Krishna will listen? One is surrendered to Krishna. Surrender to Krishna means there are six limbs of surrender. Dainya Atma Nivedana Goptrutve Varan Avashya Rakshve Krishna Vishwasa Palan Bhakti Anukula Karya Rasvikara Bhakti Pratikula Bhav Varjan Angikara. Dainya, to be humble, Atma Nivedana, self surrender. Dainya Goptrutve, considering Krishna as one's maintainer. Vishwasa Palan, having faith that Krishna will protect me, accepting what is favorable to Krishna consciousness and rejecting what is unfavorable to Krishna consciousness. So, in this, it is said that this Goptutvevaran, considering that Krishna is my maintainer, is the most important limb of surrender. Among these six limbs, there are angas of surrender. There are six angas of surrender. This Goptutvevaran is called Angi. Angi means the most important limb, and all other five are supporting this thing. So one need to develop that faith that Krishna is my mentor. Sometimes we may think money is maintaining me. Sometimes we may think the job is maintaining me. Some near and dear people are maintaining me. Government is maintaining me. Different. But actually, nobody can maintain. Krishna, Eko Bhavanam, Yo Vidati Kama. There are many living entities, and there is one supreme living entity. And what is the difference between one supreme and many living entities? The difference is that many living entities are dependent. They are not independent. And one supreme is independent and is the maintainer. All living entities are Sachidananda, and Supreme Lord is also Sachidananda. But all living entities, though they are Sachidananda, they are dependent. And one Supreme Lord, Krishna, is independent and he is maintainer. All living entities depend on him and he maintains everyone. So this is the Sambandha Gyan we need to understand. Sometimes we falsely develop hopes. Oh, I am struggling now. Maybe because I don't have good education, I'm struggling. I should try to get good education. Then maybe struggle will reduce. Sometimes people think, oh, I'm struggling now. Why? Because maybe I have a financial problem. I don't have enough money, so I'm struggling. Maybe if I earn a lot of money, my struggles will be over. Or maybe I have money, I have this, but I don't have good relationships. Maybe I need to develop good relationship with people. And if I develop some relationship with influential people, powerful people, then I can be more successful in life. So we try to depend on so many things. Sometimes people think, oh, I'm suffering because my health is not good. Maybe I should improve my health. So, but no matter what, our health may be good, our financial health may be good, our we may have very good relatives, everything may be good. Still, one there is no guarantee, there is no security, because all these things are actually superficial, external. Anytime these things can be lost. So one should understand that we are constitutionally made in such a way that we are dependent on God, and it's natural for us to depend on God. When we depend on God, that is our natural constitutional position. And then in that situation, one can be actually, one can feel natural security. So we see that here Vasudev, Devki, their father and mother of Krishna, they had so many difficulties in life. and they were having so many anxieties in life. But speciality of them is actually they were always dependent on Krishna. Similarly, Kunti, she's mother of Pandavas. Pandavas are very powerful people. Mm, mm. And she's aunt of Krishna. But in her life also so many difficulties, so many challenges. From mundane point of view, from material point of view. So life is not just mundane and material. If we think life is mundane and material, then when we'll think, oh, life of Vasudev Devaki is a big failure. No. From mundane point of view, there is so much difficulty and challenges. There's practically no peace in their life. But actually, life is not material. Life is not mundane. We are spiritual beings. Life is spiritual. And spiritual means understanding our spiritual position. We are living this part of Krishna, eternal servant of Krishna. We are dependent on Krishna. And depending on Krishna, calling for Krishna. So, being surrendered to Krishna, that makes actually life. That makes life wonderful. So we see Kunti, she has gone through so much of anxiety, but after battle of Kurukshetra, after king her son Yudhishthira is made the emperor of whole world, she is praying to Krishna, let there be calamities. She is not saying that, oh, I don't want any problems, I don't want anxiety, I don't want misery. She is not praying like that because she has learned the art of depending on Krishna. And in dependence of Krishna, she has learned how life is wonderful, how life is blissful. There may be anxiety, but this spiritual anxiety produces bliss. Devotees are not interested in shanti. She is not saying, "अरे Krishna, कितना तकलीफ जिंदगी में देखा, अभी थोड़ा शांति दे दो." She is not asking for shanti because shanti, that there's no life in that. It's like spiritually dead. So there will be anxiety, and anxiety is not bad if that helps us to remember Krishna, if that helps us to depend on Krishna, if that helps us to deeply feel the need of Krishna. That can awaken, that can make us really spiritually alive. We can become spiritually enlivened, and depending on Krishna, and experiencing reciprocation with Krishna is perfection of life. So here we see even great personalities like Vasudev, Kunti, and all this. They have suffered so much, but they are not asking for peace in life, and they are depending on Krishna. They have faith that Krishna is there and He will take care. So we see later on, Krishna is meeting other personalities, Krishna Balram. Here we see in that he is meeting Nanda and Yashoda, then he is meeting Gopis, all Brajavasis. We see Brajavasis' life also. So much of anxiety in their lives. But that is anxiety is out of love for Krishna. So, and another thing is, we say all these great devotees, they are so humble. Uh, uh, Vasudev, they are not proud people, they are so humble. Vasudev saying, we are insignificant beings, my dear Kunti, what to do? No? Uh, though he is the father of Supreme Lord, he is not proud, he is very humble. And later on we see in 11th canto also, Vasudev Devaki, they are so humble. And Narad Muni is, no, they are receiving instruction from Narad Muni. They're saying, oh, we are materialistic people, we are lost in this material world, we are in Maya. Oh, Narad Muni, you please instruct us. No? So they are so exalted, but they are not proud. They don't think they are exalted. They are very, very humble. So those who are dependent on Krishna, they are always basic characteristic that they are humble. And then they have faith that Krishna will protect. And they will always do whatever is favorable for Krishna consciousness. And they will always reject whatever is unfavorable to Krishna consciousness. So, in whatever situation we are in, apparently good or bad, apparently from mundane point of view, opulent or scarcity, from mundane point of view, so much of anxiety or so much of trouble or no prosperity, whatever. Most important thing is we have to reflect whether am I dependent on Krishna or am I dependent on something other than Krishna? Am I dependent on my own strength, my own intelligence, my own wealth, my own powers, my own relatives, and any mundane contacts and other things? Or am I dependent on Krishna? So, if we are dependent on Krishna, then we'll progress very well in our spiritual life. And no matter what situation happens, we have to focus on serving Krishna, serving Guru, serving Vaishnavas. So we see Pandavas, they're always, though they are very powerful, but they're always dependent on Krishna and they're always in mood of service to Krishna. So this, their lives, Yadava's life or Vasudev's life or Pandava's life, materially we can see it's very challenging. But spiritually their lives were successful. So they were, why they were successful? Why their life is called successful? Because they were able to call out for Krishna. They were able to depend on Krishna. Mm. If you are able to call out to Krishna, depend on Krishna, that's actually success of life. We see Vrajavasis, whenever trouble come, they would call out for Krishna. Whether trouble come or not come, our success of life doesn't depend on how many troubles came and or how many troubles didn't come or how many so-called achievements came in life, how many success came in life. That is not the measure of real success in life. But how much and how many times we are able to depend on Krishna and call out for Krishna. Oh Krishna, please help me. We see Bhagavad begins with Arjuna being in great anxiety. And Arjuna in the first chapter is called Vishada Yoga. Vishada Yoga means yoga of lamentation. Now lamentation is not very good, but his lamentation led to connecting to Krishna, yoga. Hmm? Therefore it's called Vishada Yoga because his lamentation helped him to turn to Krishna and depend on Krishna, surrender to Krishna. Therefore it's called yoga. So, okay, there may be lamentation, but if that helps us to turn to Krishna, depend on Krishna, that is also auspicious. There may be anxiety, there may be so called stress, but if that helps us to depend on Krishna, that is also wonderful. That helps us to call out to Krishna, that is wonderful. Ultimately, the purpose of this whole material existence is so that we can realize Krishna, we can call out to Krishna, we can depend on Krishna, and finally we can go back to Krishna to serve Him eternally in the spiritual world. So here we see Kunti is meeting all her near and dear ones, and especially here there is conversation between Kunti and Vasudev, and later on we'll see in the chapter there are meeting between all the wonderful personalities, especially there's meeting between Krishna and Balram with the Vrajavasis, and especially meeting of Krishna with gopis. And this is the episode which leads to Rath Yatra. Now devotees are starting preparing for Rath Yatra, Jagannath Rath Yatra. So this is the episode, this is the incident where we see when Krishna met gopis, they were very happy to see Krishna after long, long separation. At the same time, they were not happy because they saw Krishna in a royal dress. They wanted to see Krishna in Vrindavan form with peacock feather, with uh, flower garlands, and in a covered dress, but he was in a Kshatriya dress, sitting on, with all royal paraphernalia. So they were not very happy in that sense. They were happy to meet after a long separation, but at the same time, their hearts were not filled. So they were requesting Krishna, please, let's go to Vrindavan. And that's time when all Vrajavasis, especially gopis, pulled Krishna's chariot in the heart to Vrindavan. So that is Rath Yatra. Rath Yatra means trying to take Krishna from Kurukshetra to Vrindavan. So this is the chapter where Brajavasis and especially gopis are meeting Krishna, and they develop that intense desire to take Krishna to Vrindavan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So thank you very much. If anybody has any comments, any questions, any discussions, we can take. We have a few minutes. Okay. Prem Sarupu and then Hari Om Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the wonderful class for speaking about Goptrutvevaran, how we should depend on the Lord and cultivate, and how we should try to become spiritually successful to depend on Krishna in all circumstances. However, I was just contemplating that uh, by nature, uh, there's a tendency that to be materially comfortable, materially expect things to go good, relationships, maybe the service you're doing, or the things that are happening. We're trying to serve Krishna, but there's a tendency, I can see at least, that we try and see that materially things are harmonious, and there is a lot of effort put when things do not.
No, I can hear you. Even if mic is not working, you can loudly speak. We want things to work nicely, but things don't work. Huh? Yes. Uh, yes, we should want to do our service nicely. And therefore, as per our abilities, our intelligence, our strengths, we put our best effort. Like we see Pandavas, they are also trying to put their best efforts, but then one should know that yes, I'm doing this to serve Krishna, I'm doing this to serve Guru, I'm doing to serve Vaishnavas, and by their mercy, things may appear wonderful. But nature of this world is that, and especially nature of Krishna is to make sure he makes sure that there is always some challenges, so that we don't become complacent. Because purpose of all the services so that we can go towards Krishna. Krishna gives us many projects, but his real project is to bring us towards his lotus feet. So we do our projects for pleasure of Krishna, and we try our best. And we should also always try our best, and we should always think how best we can. We should not be complacent in that. And sometimes it may happen or go as per our will, and that's wonderful. That's very nice. We should know if we are able to do some service successfully, that's pleasing to Guru, pleasing to Krishna, pleasing to Vaishnavas. At the same time, when things don't go our way, Mm. And if we depend on Krishna, pray to Krishna, Krishna will be very pleased, because by that his purpose is accomplished. The purpose of all these things is so that he has arranged so that we can come to him, we can call out to him like a small child. Prabhupada said that like small child calls out for his mother. Mm. So like that, we call out to Krishna. Krishna will be very pleased. So, so this is beauty. If you are successful materially in service of Krishna, wonderful. It's all success. And if you are not successful materially, but we are able to have that consciousness that I am doing a service to Krishna, and no, and we call out to Krishna, depend. That is also success. So that is beauty of spiritual life. In spiritual life, there is no failure. It's only success. In material life, our material life, the goal is to enjoy grossly or subtly, either dhanam, janam, sundarim, or prestige, puja, la, pratishtha. And one puts best efforts for sense gratification. Sometimes things may work out nicely, but things work out nicely. The result of sense gratification is misery. And then one continues the cycle of birth and death. And if some things don't work out nicely, that leads to misery. And if he develops further desire, I have to work hard so that I can get. Again, he goes in cycle of birth and death. So materially, whether a person is successful or a failure, he is a failure. Unless somehow or other he gets mercy of Vaishnava and comes to Krishna consciousness. Whereas spiritually, whether from external point of view one is successful or a failure, if you are able to remember I am doing a service of Guru and Krishna, and we put our best efforts, then if you are successful, is successful. If you are failure, also successful. So in spiritual life, there is only success. So only struggle we have to do is we have to struggle to remember Krishna, to depend on Krishna. So if we forget that, then that is a failure. If while doing our services and all these things, we just forget, and we forget for what purpose we are doing, and we forget Krishna, we forget Guru, Vaishnavas, and we forget to depend on them, then it is a failure. But anyway, it's also temporary failure, because the devotee generally cannot remain without Guru, Krishna, and Vaishnavas for long. And even he tries to remain without them, they will not leave him. They will bring him back. So in spiritual life, having once begun, it is said one will be dragged to success, whether materially, externally, success or failure. So definitely, as you are saying that we want to do it nicely, definitely we should want to do it nicely. And if it doesn't work, we should nicely call out to Krishna. We can call out to Guru, we can call out to Vaishnavas and depend on them. Okay. Does that make any sense? Thank you very much. So, thank you very much. Time is up. Now, Hari Om Prabhu, maybe personally can ask question. Okay? श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि।